call.
Matt Fitzpatrick there from Flinders University. Now, consumer groups are calling for tighter restrictions on pawnbrokers after a Melbourne University report found the cost of living crisis is driving people towards riskier forms of credit.
The same study also found that unlike buy now, pay later, pawnbrokers have largely sidestepped any significant regulation. Stephanie Tonkin is the CEO of the Consumer Action Law Centre. She says accessing pawnbroking services may lead people into even deeper financial troubles.
I think this study showed us just how much pawnbroking is flying under the radar in terms of a credit product being offered to people who might be experiencing financial difficulty and vulnerability.
So who is generally seeking out these services, and has the use of them increased as the cost of living crisis worsens, but also as we've seen these discussions around tighter regulations on other financial services?
We tend to see a range of people coming to us with problems arising out of a pawnbroking contract. But yes, generally speaking, it's people who have less money, perhaps have a poor credit rating. And that's because there are no checks that pawnbrokers undertake in order to lend money to their customers. But the terms on which they lend that money are quite frightening. Uncapped interest amounts. The contracts, we often see them rolling over and over and over again with little rights for consumers. They're patently unfair.
And have you seen the use of them increasing?
We expect to see an increase in the use of pawnbroking loans because the government has made welcome improvements to the consumer protection framework for payday loans and buy now, pay later loans. But the pawnbroking industry is definitely flying under the radar.
What are the regulations that have been pushed for when it comes to things like buy now, pay later? And how have pawnbrokers largely sidestepped any tighter regulations?
Buy now, pay later providers will need to hold an Australian credit licence, and they will need to offer internal dispute resolution, and there will be external dispute resolution at the Australian Financial Complaints Authority that will apply to buy now, pay later loans where there's a dispute. So there are quite a few protections, but a big one is there are caps on the amounts of interest and credit that can be applied because it is within the credit laws. Pawnbroking, on the other hand, has flown completely outside of the credit laws that we have, which makes no sense. And so we see people coming to our frontline services with pawn loans with unlimited interest or interest up to 400%, where under credit laws, it's capped at 48%.
So what needs to be done to tighten regulations around the use of pawnbrokers so that consumers can be better protected?
Well, some of the reasons for pawnbroking sitting outside of the credit laws don't seem to be working. We're seeing people being harmed quite considerably by pawnbroking loans. So we think it's time for pawnbroking to be treated like credit and brought into the credit regime like all other forms of credit. We also don't have a lot of data. This is a very opaque industry. There's not a lot of information on the internet about pawnbroking in Australia. And so we think that it's high time there is an investigation through perhaps the Productivity Commission or the Australian Securities and Investment Commission to shine a light on what the practices are and the full extent of the harm that this industry is causing. Then we're going to be able to work out what laws are right for the industry.
That's Stephanie Tonkin speaking with us a little earlier.
It is time now to